Good evening and welcome. On the news tonight, President Bola Tinubu reaffirms commitment towards accountability, transparency, and good governance. Nigeria Governors Forum declares proposed 60,000 naira minimum wage unsustainable. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu commissions Sickle Cell Center at Lagos State University Teaching Hospital. And on the international scene, violent artillery fire kills 40 in Sudanese capital, Khartoum. We'll bring you details in a moment. Please stay with us. And now the details. I am Adetola Kayode. You welcome. The 36 state governors, which make up the Nigeria Governors Forum, say the 60,000 naira minimum wage proposal by the federal government is not sustainable. A statement by the acting director, Media Affairs and Public Relations of the Forum, Halima Ahmed, explains that if allowed to fly, many states will use all their monthly allocations from the Federation account to pay workers' salaries. The governors appealed to members of the tripartite committee to agree on a minimum wage that will be fair and sustainable. Recall that the organized labor had rejected the 60,000 naira proposal and went on a nationwide strike on Monday. The action was, however, suspended on Tuesday after the federal government promised to increase the minimum wage to an amount higher than the 60,000 naira as they resume negotiations. And President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed the commitment of the Nigerian government to the principles of accountability, transparency, and good governance. He made the remarks on Friday at the inauguration of the new official residence of the Vice President of Nigeria. The president spoke through Vice President Kashim Shettima, who represented him at the historic occasion. The president used the occasion to assure Nigerians that government will continue to prioritize their well-being as well as build a nation they can all be proud of. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike disclosed that the contract for the vice president's residence was first awarded in 2010 at the cost of 7 billion naira. He added that the contract was later abandoned in 2015, and in its determination to complete the edifice, the current leadership of the FCT in January 2024 sought for and obtained approval for a review of the contract to the sum of 22 billion naira, leading to its completion 14 years after commencement of the project. The new residence of the vice president, located adjacent to the office of the secretary to the government of the federation, has an office for the wife of the vice president, a mosque, a chapel, and recreational facilities, amongst others. And here in Lagos, the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, LASUTH, now has a sickle cell center dedicated to the treatment and care of children living with the disorder. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu commissioned the world-class facility donated by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals, Adejoke Orelope Adefulire. Sickle cell is a global health concern, with its total mortality burden coming down 11 times higher than other diseases. Nigeria has the highest number of affected persons worldwide, with about 3 million people and still counting. To help reduce mortality rate, care, investigation and research, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is here at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, LASUTH, to commission a world-class sickle cell center exclusively for children-related activity.
The establishment of this center will take a huge chunk of load of our usually crowded pediatric clinics and wards. Those that need daycare can be admitted just for the day and treated, and they will go home.
This fully equipped center is facilitated by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals SDG and one-time Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Adejoke Orilokwe Adefulire, who says aside from having a personal loss to sickle cell, the construction of the facility will help the country meet SDG Goal 3, Target 3, which aims at reducing mortality rate by providing genetic counseling, preventive interventions, risk assessment, laboratory services, amongst others, for children living with the sickle cell disorder.
I lost my immediate junior sister at the age of 29 to sickle cell disorder many years ago. I got traumatized, and the trauma still lives with me. And that also contributes to why this project must be implemented. And I promise that we will do more for Lagos State and do in many other states of the Federation, so that we can save more lives. Most of the children die within 7 days. Some of them die from age 1.
This center, I'm sure, will become a hub of excellence, providing top-tier care, driving innovative research, and fostering an environment where healthcare professionals will thrive.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu appreciated Mrs. Orilokwe Adefulire and the management of LASUTH for their efforts and for showing greater understanding and commitment to ensuring that every child who has access to the facility comes out way healthier.
LASUTH to become a medical university of health. How can we? It will be a tough one, but we believe it's doable. We cannot have all of these facilities and you just want to remain as a teaching hospital. You must be a citadel of medical learning. You must be a reference point of medical research, of medical transformation, not only in our country.
The Sickle Cell Care Center, located inside LASUTH, is a well-equipped one-stop shop for all the components of the care of sickle cell patients, especially children. Adetola Kayode, LTV News. And the Lagos State University authorities will strive to sustain the prevailing peace, stability and development in this state government-owned institution. Vice Chancellor Professor Ibiyemi Olatunji Bello and other leading administrators of the university gave this assurance during the convocation and conferment of doctorate awards and distinguished scholars and some eminent Nigerians, including elder statesman and chairman Governor's Advisory Council in the state, Tajuddin Olusi. Samuel Dada tells us more.
The 27th convocation of the Lagos State University was the third edition under the leadership of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ibiyemi Olatunji Bello. Interestingly, all editions were marked with enviable and outstanding academic records and honors for students, staff, administrators, and the institution in general. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Ibiyemi Olatunji Bello, appreciates the Lagos State government for prioritizing physical development in the institution. The Professor of Physiology, who is the second female Vice Chancellor of the state-owned university, ascribes prevailing peace and stability in the institution to harmonious relationship amongst all stakeholders.
I want to assure you that Lagos State University is committed to deepening academic excellence to the benefit of all. I also see this opportunity to encourage all of our valued partners to continue to support the university.
Since my appointment by Mr. Governor in September 2021, the convocations have been held annually without fail. A pointer to the stability and consistency that have sustained the finest academic tradition for which the university is renowned.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu announced the donation of a sum of 10 million naira to the best graduating student, Mubarak Olawale, with a CGPA of 4.98.
I'm still surprised because I never experienced something like this. I never experienced something like this. But of course, hard work pays. I want to see a very different way to the Lagos State government. Governor in particular, Mr.
It was an outpour of honors on some eminent scholars as well as other distinguished Nigerians, including an elder statesman and politician, Prince Tajuddin Ulusi, and the famous industrialist, Dr. Adedoyin, who were conferred with honorary doctorate awards.
I can assure you that those of us that are giving this award, we are not going to fail the university. One thing I want to point out here is that for almost 10 years, it's been really peace in Lati, and our Vice Chancellor has climaxed it. Because of this, we've been seeing a lot of development, a lot of achievement academically, and all not white.
This is an exceptional honor. I want to thank the University of Lagos State University, particularly the authority, the Senate, and the Vice Chairman. Age is no barrier to progress. I think that even at this age, God will allow me to do more for this country.
Major stakeholders are optimistic that with improved infrastructure, impressive local and international ratings, as well as stable academic calendar, which the Lagos State University presently enjoys, would further enhance public subscription and acceptability amongst contemporaries. Samuel Dada, LTV News.
The Lagos State House of Assembly Committee on Special Duties, Intergovernmental Relations and CBD has paid a working visit to the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, to promote world-class response to emergency situations in the state. Bababumi Agbebi has the report.
The arrival of the Lagos State House of Assembly Committee members on Special Duties, Intergovernmental Relations and CBD to the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, signals the commencement of the working visit. They are being taken on a familiarization tour by the Permanent Secretary of LASEMA, Femi Okosointolu.
Highly dedicated into what we are doing. And that is why in Lagos State, our emergency is not only smooth, it's swift, effective.
The Permanent Secretary, LASEMA, lists the achievements and major challenges of the agency since its inception.
The key thing why we chest our chest out that our response is swift, prompt, effective and efficient is that today in Lagos State we ensure that our emergency response time is 10 minutes based on the fact that we have a viable architecture in all the states. What we are appealing is that we should have more of this equipment. Secondly, our equipment are aging. We've been using all this equipment mostly since 2007. And if you are using equipment that you always use daily from 2007, you know what it is.
The chairman of the House Committee, Rauf Olawale Agesulaiman, applauds the laudable feats by LASEMA with hopes for improvements in other areas.
With what we have seen, we are okay. I mean, we are happy, but we need more. All right? If you have this, then it will be easy for you to respond. Rapid one. Even though you did not put rapid response, you put something response in your objective, listed. But Lagos State House of Assembly, you need to be furnishing us information.
The chairman gives clarifications on the relationship and synergy between LASEMA and its sister emergency agencies.
Their works are just interrelated. They are under different laws. But if they have problem, we may not know. They have to communicate us. And so far, they've not laid such complaint before us. But what we have observed is that there is synergy between them.
Okel Sointolu believes that this visit is a step in the right direction for improved service delivery of the agency.
Where you put your money to, you need to monitor and to evaluate. These are the people that always pass our budgets. These are people that always look at what we are doing. So they must come and check what we need, what is our challenges, how they need to add value to us, and what we are doing, and that we need to improve on.
This visit emphasizes the effective collaboration and oversight functions of the Lagos State House of Assembly and agencies of the state government. Bababumi Agbibi, LTV News.
In the meantime, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has predicted that 8 local government areas of Zamfara State will be affected by moderate flooding in the 2024 rainy season. The agency's Director General, Zubeida Umar, disclosed this in Gusau at the sensitization program for the 2024 downscaling of flood early warning strategies for early actions. Umar listed the 8 local government areas to include Bungudu, Gumi, Gusau, Bakura, Marandun Talata, Mafara, Shekafe, and Zurumi. She also called on Nigerians to work together to safeguard communities at risk, protect critical infrastructure, and support what she termed uninterrupted socio-economic activities in the country from flooding. The Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency in the year 2024 annual flood outlook predicted that 31 states with 148 local government areas are to be within the high flood risk areas, while 35 states, including the FCT, with 249 local government areas are considered to fall within the moderate flood risk areas, and the remaining 377 areas are forecasted for the lower flood risk areas. Umar highlighted that in the past years, Zamfara State had been severely impacted by flood, which led to losses, damages, and fatalities. The Zamfara State Commissioner for Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, Ali Yusafi, said the government had already started the flood awareness campaign across the 14 local government areas in the state. The state governor, Dauda Lawal, implored government officials, traditional and religious leaders, and other relevant stakeholders to actively participate in the sensitization program and use the strategies shared towards mitigating the flood impacts in the risky areas of the state. And bandits have killed at least 42 persons in different attacks on some villages in Zamfara and Katsina states. In Zamfara State, 12 people, including 7 policemen, were killed at Magaria village in Zumi local government area. The Commissioner of Police in the state, Muhammad Shehu Dalija, said the bandits, numbering about 300, stormed the village on motorbikes, opened fire on the policemen, thereby killing 7 of them and injuring several others. According to him, the bandits were not happy with the policemen who prevented them from carrying out their heinous attack for over 2 years. Meanwhile, in Katsina State, similar acts of violence unfolded in villages across the Sima and Safana local government areas, claiming the lives of no fewer than 30 individuals. The affected villages, including Tasha, Kawai, Marzulfi, Sabungari, Uguwa, Banza, and others, were subjected to relentless attacks, forcing residents to abandon their homes in search of refuge. Abia State Governor Alex Otti has increased the 25 million naira bounty placed on the killers of 5 soldiers at Obi-Kabia Junction in Aba to 30 million naira. Governor Otti announced this today when the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, visited him. This is coming barely a week after the governor vowed to give 25 million naira to anyone who can provide information leading to the arrest of the perpetrators. Recall that on May 30, 5 soldiers were killed at the Obi-Kabia Junction in Aba. The attack was reportedly carried out by suspected members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra in a bid to enforce a sit-at-home. The governor said that the increase in bounty was necessary by an additional 5 million naira by an indigene of the state based in the United States of America. You're still watching the news on Lagos Television. Still ahead. Lagos State Government marks World Environment Day, assures proactive measures to tackle land degradation and drought. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.
Dear Lagosians, we are taking a stand for our city's health and future. The Lagos State government has banned styrofoam food containers to shield our environment and your well-being. Why? Because styrofoam made of polystyrene is linked to severe health risks like cancer, Parkinson's disease, and hearing loss. But the danger doesn't stop there. It is also non-biodegradable, meaning it will remain the same for the next 500 years, leading to clogged drains and increased flooding. Our oceans are also at risk. It harms marine life, disrupting the delicate balance of our ecosystem. Please, let us embrace the usage of only reusable plastic containers henceforth. If you are found using, selling, or distributing styrofoam food containers, these items will be confiscated and you will be prosecuted. Let's choose a safer path with reusable plastics. It's up to us to ensure a vibrant, healthier, and cleaner Lagos for generations to come. Enough is enough. Join the movement.
Thanks for staying tuned. A public hearing on the review of laws guiding the conduct of grassroots polls in Lagos State is underway. This forms part of the Discuss at a Stakeholders Forum organized by the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission last year, preparatory to the coming election next year, July. Political correspondent
It is about 13 months to the 2025 Lagos local government election, and to authenticate this poll, some laws need amendment in tandem with current realities. This Stakeholders Forum on the review of LASEC laws speaks to this.
The integrity of the electoral process is paramount, and it is our collective responsibility to ensure that our electoral laws are robust, fair, and adaptable to the changing dynamics of our society.
It's about the people of Lagos State. LASEC is meant to be an independent electoral commission, where you have all form of bias. Nobody's supposed to interfere into their activities, and that's why they have their own law.
Giving an overview, LASEC derives its legitimacy from Section 197 of the 1999 Constitution and Section 150, subsection 1 of the amended 2022 Electoral Act. A legal practitioner, Barrister James Ogunyemi, and Babs Anmasham of the Lagos State University Law Department say, like the Federal Capital Territory Area Council, states in Nigeria have rights to domesticate and conduct local government polls, hence the creation of LASEC by the Lagos State House of Assembly in year 2002. They give insight to Section 101 of the Electoral Act, Section 25 of LASEC laws, and others which speak to validity of a contestant and the need for proper conduct.
In Nigeria, generally under the Electoral Act, they must be a registered voter. It does not matter whether it's the area of contest for the election or not, but in Lagos State, under the Lagos State law, he must have been a registered voter in the ward where it's contested.
In a situation, only the federal government, only the national parliament can make law. In another situation, the two of them can make law. In the third one, it's only the state house of assembly that can make law. In the one that both of them can make law, whenever the federal parliament has made a law, that law dominates over the other one. So that is very clear.
Some participants comment and equally made suggestions on what is expected.
They should do what is expected of them by this law. That is why we as a party in Lagos say we show interest in this part. I believe that they will do justice this time around to the election.
In the past, they've not been calling any political party, but I fought for it, that how can you amend a law that other political party was not aware, and they promise any other thing they will be calling us, and I'm glad we are here today.
We are going to put it on writing and send it to LASIEC so that they can have the full comprehension of what we really mean. But we are heterogeneous in nature and our needs are different.
The law made in 1998 must subject to review. They are made for people. So as we progress, we must ensure we take cognizance of the new development within the political space.
The Lagos State House of Assembly will be coming up with a public hearing on the LASEC Laws Amendment soonest, and there are clear court rules guiding the conduct of polls at the national and state levels. The outcome of the public hearing will in no small measure add to the credibility of the grassroots polls next year, July, in the Center of Excellence. Omololu Rosanwo, LTV News.
The Lagos State government says it will continue to take proactive measures to address land degradation and enhance the state's resilience to drought. Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, stated this at an event organized to commemorate this year's World Environment Day. Bukola Teloko reports.
This is the power of taking care of the environment. We must continue to protect our rivers. It's the condition of our lives and the legacy we leave for our children.
These are students from government-owned secondary schools in Lagos presenting a drama highlighting the importance of adopting environmental-friendly practices. This drama presentation is part of activities lined up at this event organized by the state government to commemorate this year's World Environment Day. With the theme, land restoration, desertification, and drought resilience, the guest speaker says to prevent, halt, and reverse the degradation of ecosystems, biodiversity must be protected.
Humanity depends on biodiversity. Our life depends on it. Our well-being depends on it. Without biodiversity, we probably would go extinct. So it's something that we need to do. And when we look at the rate at which biodiversity is being lost, we can see that there is one major culprit that is at the center, man. Human population globally is increasing. We need land for food, we need space for development, but if we do not do it in a way that is sustainable and that is in harmony with nature, we would actually be doing more harm to ourselves than the environment.
As a coastal state with an ever-increasing population and a delicate ecosystem, the Lagos State government is taking proactive measures to address land degradation and enhance its resilience to drought.
Without law and order, we can't develop. If the law says you can't build on a wetland, why must you go and reclaim a wetland? If the law says you must obtain EIA before you can do some constructions or reclamations, it's for the sake of the environment. You do it because you believe there are no consequences. And that is then we shall not allow any brazen act against the environment.
From our ambitious tree planting initiatives to our waste management reforms, including our recent ban on styrofoam and single-use plastics, we have demonstrated our unwavering commitment to environmental management.
Reacting to the environmental degradation in Ikorodu, the Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources says such abuses will no longer be tolerated.
Most of them were being done illegally, by the way. And we're now letting the Bales and the Obas in those neighborhoods take ownership. In the interim, we have stopped those actions that are degrading our environment.
As a tradition, the state government presented the Lagos Green Awards to individuals and corporate bodies who have contributed to making the Lagos environment sustainable. Bukola.
The Lagos government has organized a sensitization tour calling on residents without planning permits for their existing buildings to take advantage of the amnesty window approved by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. We have details in this report.
These are officials of the Lagos State government, and they are creating awareness about the amnesty window approved by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu for owners of existing buildings to get their planning permits without the payment of statutory penalties, which the governor has graciously waived.
Most of these buildings that don't have planning permits now have the opportunity to come forward and regularize the existing building by submitting application that we have tagged as built for them to get regularized. Suffice to say that they are not going to pay penal fee, because according to the regulations, if you have an existing building without planning permits, regulations demand that you are going to pay penal fee. But this has now been graciously waived or suspended by the governor of Lagos State.
Areas toured by the sensitization team include Ikeja, Ojota, Maryland, and Surulere, with the government assuring that all nooks and crannies of the state will be visited to ensure everyone is aware of the amnesty window.
The extension of the amnesty program is within the prerogative of Mr. Governor. If you so wish to extend the amnesty program, I mean, it will be good for the good people of the states. However, we are just encouraging and employing everybody that this 33 months period is possible for everybody to regularize their property. You don't have to wait for extension. 3 months is enough time for you to process and regularize your planning permits.
The amnesty window for as-built planning permit runs for 90 days starting from May 2nd. Bukola Taylor Cole, LTV News.
Today, June 7, is World Food Safety Day, the day which was established by the United Nations General Assembly in 2018, is to draw attention and inspire action to help prevent, detect, and respond to public health threats associated with unsafe handling of food. You have details in Omomi Okeowo's report.
Every day, approximately 1.6 million people worldwide fall ill due to consumption of unsafe food, according to data by the World Health Organization. These alarming figures births the World Food Safety Day, jointly facilitated by the World Health Organization and the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations in 2018. This year's theme, Food Safety, Prepare for the Unexpected, shows food safety incidents can range from minor events to major international crises, whether it's power outage affecting food in refrigerators, food poisoning at a local restaurant, voluntary recall of contaminated food by a manufacturer, or an outbreak of imported products.
Our global food system is only as strong as its weakest link. Food safety is an essential part of food security. Only safe food can meet nutritional needs.
In Nigeria, following some of the guidelines by the World Health Organization and United Nations, Lagos State being the most populous state in the country, where most of her food items are sold in an informal way, continues to sensitize her food traders on proper handling and display of food.
If you ever experience food poisoning, you know the importance of food safety. But generally, people are not much aware of it. Most people, we find out, they use sniper. And use of sniper is so dangerous. A case was reported about 2 weeks ago, and the person went into coma after consuming a food. And then after a series of tests, we discovered that the preserve was sniper.
The food they are selling can be eaten by anyone, including themselves. And it is necessary for them to sell in clean environment, to make sure that they themselves are clean. They have gone for food handlers test. They are not carrying any disease that can affect consumer of what they are selling.
This sensitization talk, which is done periodically, is also to ensure safe food for residents from the farm to the market, cooking, and the final consumption.
It's an enlightenment program for us that our production from the farmland to the harvest and to the final consumer, we need to be very, very careful the way we manage our things. Our food should be well managed in the course of serving and sales for the general public.
They have taught us about it, that we should not be using chemical. Last time they introduced us about neem oil, that we should use neem oil, that one is very healthy, to use it to preserve the food, that instead of using the chemical that will affect our organs.
The day also reminds us that while government will play its part, it also behoves on us as individuals, families, communities and businesses to evaluate food safety risks as part of our daily choices.
And Saudi Arabia has announced the sighting of the Dhul Hijjah crescent, signaling the beginning of the 12th Islamic month, the month of Dhul Hijjah. Eid al-Adha is celebrated by Muslims all around the world on the 10th day of Dhul Hijjah, which is the 12th month of the Islamic lunar calendar. It is the second major Islamic festival celebrated by Muslims after Eid al-Fitr. This means the Hajj pilgrimage for year 2024 will begin today, with the day of Arafah falling on Saturday, June 15, while Eid al-Adha will be observed on Sunday, June 16. Recall that Saudi Arabia's Supreme Court had on Wednesday called on all Muslims to participate in the sighting of the crescent, signifying the commencement of the month of Dhul Hijjah, which will determine the commencement of the new and last month of the Islamic calendar and the day Eid al-Adha falls on. And still to come in the news. Court finds MultiChoice 50 million naira, orders 1 month free subscription for disputing court's jurisdiction. That's in Business News. Please stay with us.
On Business News tonight, the International Monetary Fund has predicted that Nigeria's economy will reach $1.85 trillion by 2029 in purchasing power parity terms. This forecast suggests significant growth trajectory for the country's economy over the next 5 years. According to the IMF data, Nigeria's gross domestic product in PPP terms has been steadily increasing from 1.36 trillion naira in 2023 to 1.852 trillion naira in 2029. GDP is the most commonly used single measure of a country's overall economic activity. PPP is a theory that relates changes in exchange rates to changes in price levels between countries, allowing for more accurate international comparisons for economic data. The data shows a consistent growth trend with a notable increase of 5.5% expected in 2029. The fund also predicted Nigeria's share of global GDP based on PPP to reach 0.78% by 2029. This represents a slight increase from 0.77% in 2023, indicating a steady growth trajectory for the country's economy. The Competition and Consumer Protection Tribunal has fined MultiChoice Nigeria, the owners of DSTV and GoTV services, the sum of 150 million naira for disobeying its orders, which restrains the pay TV company from increasing its monthly subscription, pending the determination of the suit brought before it. The tribunal also ordered the pay TV company to provide its Nigerian customers with a 1 month free subscription to its DSTV and GoTV packages. Recall that the tribunal had previously ordered MultiChoice not to increase its subscription fees without proper notice, following a lawsuit filed by an Abuja-based lawyer, Festus Onifade, who said the 8-day notice given for the price increase was inadequate. Onifade then proceeded to file contempt charges against MultiChoice after it disobeyed court orders and proceeded with its price hike as announced to its customers. MultiChoice, on its part, argued that previous rulings had settled price regulation issues. Onifade insisted the length of notice was inadequate and more pressing than the price hike itself, prompting the tribunal to affirm its jurisdiction and ruling against MultiChoice. The court fixed July 3 for a hearing of the substantive suit of the plaintiff. The Nigerian Ports Authority (NPA) has come up with a new export policy for trucks carrying export cargoes by reducing their entry time into the port by 40% from 72 hours to 48 hours. According to the policy, there has been a significant improvement in the movement of export trucks into the port, hence the decision to further reduce the time with a view to enhancing trade. In a notice to stakeholders, the management of the NPA, through its technical partners and managers of the Transit Truck Parks Limited, said that a new policy governing the time threshold for export truck access to the port will now be within 48 hours. And that's all on business news. Up next are today's figures on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange.